Hello, this is Gerald Johan van Waas. In this series of video, I have to have a certain educational level to guide you through the system of letters. Letters themselves have a certain position in balance with each other so that we can recognize and distinct all the differences. And they build up, they have a logic of its own. You can learn that logic. But even there, it doesn't stop because combining these elements needs really practice to learn how to do so. There is a methodical system behind it that is spontaneously accessed via our mind and via our associations in the same way as we have, like, okay, if it's not nearby, then it should be a bit further away. If it's not right, let's look at the left. It's as logic as that. And I will give a bit more attention to the letter C, where that comes from. So why is this position there and why do we associate things from there? And I build it up from the first couple of letters, from the least complexity, ATK, up until C. So that you can really see, oh yeah, I understand how this builds up, that I see a different distinction there. It's all about frequencies. It's all about positions, it's all about geometry. There's a lot of associations that you can make there because there are references that are within nature that we base upon, we base ourselves upon them because they are simple and logic, like the 1, 2, 3 rule. If it's not in the middle, it's a bit further away. Or it's at the borders, that 1, 2, 3 option, horizontal, vertical, diagonal. All these 1, 2, 3 options are the kind of options that our mind uses to make decisions. The yes option, the no option, and I don't know option makes up our mind that we look further, from what is it then. So what shall we deal with as well? So that we make it even more subtle and see really where the things are, how they hang together, and how we can describe them. The background, you have already my position of my interpreter. Before this interpreter, it's the basis where I start from, usually from what is really before you. You have the time aspect there, and you have in the background what is going on forever, let's say. Now, I have already a vague reminder there that how we see the transition from R to W, so that you come to the crowd, and the crowd from the crowd as well. So where we are really looking at when we are associating the crowd. But I give most attention to the letter C, because I will explain it even more, how this built up into a logical system and how this system itself is logic. It is a logic of associations as well. They give us associations, and that it's always the same kinds of associations because of its position of focus. So let's find out how we associate these focuses, and from this I also give you two options of subtlety of the first 9 letters here, because basically it is an attempt to pinpoint actually positions. The first 9 letters are about positions in space. They all want to have a position in a one point. In reality, it is dealing with its environment, it's dealing with its full context, and it has a position, and this position sometimes also reveals, okay, but I see at the same time certain differences. So this point becomes, in a certain way, a double point at the second level and a triple point at the last level, where we are dealing with these differences. And I will explain these things so you can derive all these 9 points to just one point, but you can also see within that point we also deal with differences. And that's why you have you can have it expressed in 2 points, in 1 point, 2 point, or 3 points as well. And that's more like the plus minus, the distinction where you say, okay, this is plus and this is minus, or this I know better and this I know less. these subtlenesses of your focuses are part of the description of what we see there, how we associate things from there with usage of these letters. And I will explain them quite well. So we will come, of course, to the letter C, where you already see it. You have it. The main focus of the 9th first letter is about the focus upon something in space, about an object in space and a certain position. You have that position at the edges, where you also have that that idea of, yeah, but what belongs to what I have here and what does not belong to it as well, and what can we use here as a focus is also there. But I will build it up now. I will build it up from all kinds of possibilities that you have onto an object, depending on where you lie your focus. And you can see that in my system written down, designed in that way. So that's the position of A. What is that position? It is within that circle, so you are focusing upon the object itself. That's the easiest association that you have. And of course we deal with the middle focus, the main focus, so that we can orient ourselves and have a certain balance. So we have a meeting point to the object towards the middle point. And that's what we basically have. So we also have a foundation of that middle point, which is at the same time horizontal at the background, where we have a certain position where we start from. So that's basically the A. That's a good association. If you say, okay, but how do we associate A? If you understand well what this means, you will quickly understand the whole psychology of the usage of letter A, of all the association that you can have with the letter A. How it is used. It's always using the association of, okay, let's focus upon the object. It's balanced out in the middle, and there I'm trying to focus upon and define the things with it. So there I will realize what it is, the thing itself is. The letter T is a different position, so it's you can see that in the system it's over there. So it's a little bit up, and it is, okay, it's still dealing with that horizontal plane, but you can see it has a certain position up or down. It has a certain position up from the immediate confrontation. Okay, I see I have an object. It's even going deeper into the object, and there it will define something of a difference there. The first thing that you can have as a difference is that position. So thanks to that, just a little bit up, I can find out a position, but also I can also find out a feature. The third option that you can have if you have a point is not just with the A. I see that there is an object. It says, okay, I have a position somewhere. In K, it is a position at the edges where you're not very sure. Do I really have it? Do I don't have it? And how far does it go? And how does I see it from my center point of vision? Do I have it? There's something which is doubtful already at that point at the edges, and that's the letter K basically about. It's already some associations. You can have it already. You can remember that already. That's already a good start. The U, L, and B is the next level. So basically, as one point, it also focuses on that edge in the way as well. It accepts that edge, and it sees some differences there from it really wants to start from there, but because of its position, which is not so sure, so do I really have the thing, or am I half lying outside it, the half lying inside it? You have always these options, like you're not very sure if you really grasp it well. You have your focus also at the edges as well, and you deal with actually both positions. And both positions also means then that we will focus upon that object itself, but it's possible that yeah, it's the things that we are looking for are not there, or it's not part of it, or we are not part of it. That kind of associations is all, with this dualism, is all part of the associations easily associated from you. In L as well, you have that focus inside the object, where you say, okay, from here you can focus upon everything which is happening there. It gives you an opportunity to see like how many variations of forms are there, and so on. But also there is that contradiction between the middle point focus and losing that middle point focus. So you see things seen from the center point of vision, because we want to have a center point of vision, but things are growing out, are evolving further, and so on. And that's the letter L. B as well. It's also not a little bit at the edges, or but also in between. Where is it? Where are the things that come from inside? Maybe something is growing outside. It is all about these evolutionary positions that are possible from the center onwards. These are focuses which deal with two options. Yeah, what is already there in the object and what is already changing in the object here, changing at the edges at the B. And then when we come to C, we have the three focuses, which also says, okay, something is indeed seeing the things from almost from outside the object, and see what belongs to it and what does not belong to it, and see what you can follow there, what you cannot follow there. It's even more subtle than the you from before. And that's your concentrating point as well. He said the edges where a lot of options start to occur. Yeah, what does belong here, what does not belong here, and so on. And so that's your kind of focus in C. And it's of course seen from the middle point of vision as well. And you have these options, okay, from within the whole object. There are options of choices depending on what you associate it with. So what can we do with it? What can this position do with it? And so on. Or what can be practical there, and so on. All seen from a center. And then of course we will come to the word itself, crowd. So we have already the letter C, our starting point of a position, which focuses actually on an object with a lot of options of things within that object of focus, where a lot of variations can happen. And we will combine it with R, the extra letter R, the extra letter O, and the extra letter W. In the system itself, you see O and W are about directions on time, that's the green arrow, directions on time, and with a certain position where we focus our timings as well. R is more about the background connections in a little bit, in a certain way, so the behaviors in the background, which we will find a grasp into, that there is a certain pattern that we can find where we can connect the patterns inside that object in an interpretative way. We will see what we will have to do with it, but we will start from C first and then at the letter R. So R itself is of course it's about the there's always the last couple of categories about the time-space behavior is or time-space continuum behavior is about a whole set of behaviors, and with its own rhythm, with its own definition, and which can repeat itself. And that's basically what R also is. That's where things can maintain itself, can maintain a life of its own, can maintain a movement as well, and where you can follow the movement because you can recognize its pattern. So this movement, of course, projected upon the object is almost like, yeah, okay, I see here a vibration here in the end that keeps the whole set together, where we'll focus upon. So C plus R is presented well in this way as this these vibrations of rhythms of behaviors that have a certain continuation as well. And then of course I have to add the O and the W, which connects very well together. They are both from the same category. O is a focus upon what is going to change. So you see, like, okay, what I'm giving attention to, what will change here, what will be the changes. I will go and have a look what the changes will be. And W is that change in the end of lingering on. So something is, it's like the W is like a loose, it's almost like a loose end of the direction that it goes to somewhere in that way. And the T or the D, because crowd is written with a T. T usually is about a position, the recognizing of a position or the recognizing of a feature, recognizing of what makes it different in the sense of what really. While the written as D, it more uplifts the position to the going towards a different position where something has changed. So you have a position here with the T inside that crowd, let's say, and with D it gives it a purposeful destination as well, so that you can do something with it. In other words, yeah, with the crowd, you have this position where you start from, where you start upon maybe even a certain individual in the crowd, where it stands out in the crowd with the T as well. You have a certain position where you focus upon, but the focus upon is the full crowd itself with its changing positions and the changing options and so on, which you have all within that crowd of these options of that you have. The C is all about options and these connections between a whole set of behaviors within that crowd. It gives us a whole variety of purposes that can go all directions actually in a certain way as well. These are associations that are built up from the positions that are these geometrical associations. So CR is of course repetitive within this pattern because of the R. The O and the W gives it a certain position. The W itself is you know already, it is this wave with a loose open beginning and a loose open ending, and so the crow in the crowd is quite well expression, because the crowd is all these positions that you can have. Could be a people, of course. It are people. It's associated with people, of course. The crowd with all these options of individual focal points, in which the crow itself doesn't focus upon the position, but really focus upon, yeah, what can I lift here out as, and ends with W or W, so it stands out of the crowd as an individual, almost like with a certain freedom of the W, also with its own behavior that lingers on, that is typical for the crow in the crowd. A crow is also always related with a certain group of birds, but it has its own individuality as well. So that's also describable very well in form and so on, and you can understand the associations that come from there as well, as the crowd with its own freedom of the individual within the whole group of group entity actually that remains there as well. But actually it's enough to already as an introduction to associate letters, letter positions, and the positions themselves that bring forth associations should be understandable already from with this example. And with this example you should also understand why crowd is written down as it is, and how the crow fits into the crowd as well. Thanks again for watching. Bye.